Talk to me.
Oh, yeah, we're
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to Performance in Motion with your host, Dr. Dennis.
Okay, folks, we're back. Oh, my God, we should have had video on this while we're waiting for this third segment to start. This guy can dance, man, I'll tell you. And you should have seen the reaction of Cyndi.
Oh, I've been embarrassing her since our wedding day.
Oh, yeah, I roll my eyes a lot.
She kind of gets like a valley and goes, really? Yeah, I get it, man. I heard that, over time, like the ocean that goes in your ears from being a surfer kind of affects the brain indirectly. Is that true?
I'm sure there's waterlog. I'm sure there's the ripples like when people's hands are in the water too long. I don't know.
So your brain's rippled.
Ooh, okay. We got some feistiness there going on. All right, so listen, folks, we're going to get into a little bit of what Waxer has experienced as far as training, as far as stretching, strengthening, all these types of things to combat or maintain or handle the plethora of injuries that he's sustained over the years.
It starts with, for some of you who's listening, this is for you, is I called Dennis out of an absence of hope. In fact, just maybe 4 weeks ago, I was sent to a new and different pain management specialist because the doctor who did my knees can't explain why she put in 2 knees and I still have pain in my knee. And I'm like, did I just make a Porsche payment? What's the deal? How come my knee still hurts? And so the answer was pain management. And when I went there, he said, how are you? And I just said, honestly, I said, angry. And he goes, well, what are you angry about? I said, I've seen just about every department of every kind of doctor in Honolulu, and I'm still like this. And now I'm sitting here being told basically pharmaceuticals are my only hope. Yeah. And so, I mean, when I say everything, I'm talking I am pretty regular with a chiropractor who does alleviation.
Gotcha.
I've done this type of thing, which does alleviation. I've changed food radically and does alleviation, but nothing has taken me out of or done a progressional.
Right.
So all I've done is made myself not get worse. Necessary. Every surgery even has just stopped it from being worse rather than anything moving forward.
Yes.
So that's where I just began to feel hopeless and just say to my wife, is this my new norm? Is this who I am, at 53? Am I just going to be a hobbler, blah, blah, blah? And through our mutual friend, I heard about yourself. And what was kind of unique in our phone conversation, and I'm sure you talk about it on your show, is that, yes, when my shoulder gets blown out because of literally a big, huge wave just took it while I was holding my board over, then I would hold an exercise just for the shoulder. So they would give me a little 2-pounder and hold this up. Right. Or with the knee, I went to the PT and he wants me sitting in a sit position because this is supposed to build the inner sides on my legs. And so I'm doing all of these things. But if A, B, and C, and D are already bust up, then how just emphasizing F am I helping anything else? And then I could always feel when I'm there with the PT, he's always saying, well, you got to turn your head, you got to breathe, you got to this. And then you're supposed to go home and do these exercises, but how do you do them if someone's not watching you? Because all I knew was isolation. So what's been unique coming here into San Diego was, first of all, your diagnosis was thorough from head to toe. You started explaining, and that's what Cyndi said, and she can pipe in right now. What's different about what we've been getting here is being explained why this happens, why this connects. We didn't go to Yorba Linda. You know what I mean? We don't do that. And so having a better understanding of my own anatomy and physiology and such, and not just, oh, here's your problem, but this is why, this is why, this is why, and this here affects this. So I see the connection, which to a personality type like me, you explain something, you get more drive out of me.
Yeah.
Tell me what to do, okay, but tell me why. Oh, okay. Why gives more oomph from me. Yeah. And so that's been coming through. So we've been working on core exercises because everyone who's ever had any injury of any kind, everyone says, core, you need a stronger core, you got to work on your core. And you hear it 100 times a day, but never did I know that there were so many things to do differently than just a sit-up or, a bridge, and all these different things. So what's been really unique, Dennis, is that you're sending me with all these different, like, just stand this way, do this, and you go, you're working on your core. And then I learned that the core is not just my belly. It goes from the back of my head all the way down. And so all of this stuff of stabilizing, bringing strength, and then that can move forward. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I just want to, this is not to toot my own horn, but what you've been through, obviously you folks out there have heard of the Mayo Clinic, and I'm not talking badly because I actually subscribe to their newsletter. And I'll be honest, I'm very critical when I would read research, and I'd say about 80%, is right on track.
Mm-hmm.
So just real quick, a quick synopsis of your experience. First of all, why you went there, and what was the end result, and yeah.
Well, the unfortunate part is that, of course, when we went out to the Mayo, the first part was all diagnostic, so it's only medical, so it's MRI, X-ray, these types of things. The unfortunate part, Dennis, is that we only went to one person who was, again, kind of a PT thing, because what happened is that it come to find out that our insurance company couldn't match or do Mayo, so we were there 2 days and we were already in $9,000 debt. So we turned around, got on a plane, and came home.
Gotcha.
So that was the main thing. So, but the frustration to us is that we went out there, and again, all it was first of all, just taking the diagnostics. I mean, I sent the guy this whole long list so that he could read it beforehand, and then instead, because I said, "So did you read it?" He goes, "Why would I read it until I meet you?"
Wow.
Yeah, so I was kind of, so for us, the frustration, and I'm sure all of you out there listening, and even my own mother-in-law right now, she's trying to see a holistic person helping with her diet. It's $500 for this test and $400 on this test and da-da-da. So for those of us, in the pocket situation, it gets kind of hard to have your pocket empty but your body not better.
Yeah, and I can relate to both of you in the fact that we share this too, is I've spent a lot of money on professionals. I had a destroyed spine. And I was very, very obese, almost 400 pounds. And I did what most people would do. You seek out a professional, sometimes based on word of mouth, and you're expecting. This is the difference. You're paying money and you're expecting some change.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get zero, that's it. You kind of shut down, and then hope goes out the window.
Yep.
And this is how I'm going to be.
Yep.
Or even worse, when you pay money to somebody who tells you need to do this, and then you go to your other doctor and you say, this is what the PT has me doing, and the knee surgeon goes, no, that's terrible for your knees. Don't do that. So
milk is great. Milk is the devil. Eat this. This is. I mean, for those of us in the lay world, we're just like whatever.
Exactly, and that's what I try and share with people is, I was an orthopedic specialist for 15 years, being an ex-pro athlete, power lifter, martial artist, so I knew everything orthopedic. I knew the surgeries, I knew all the protocols. Great. I got good results with people. And I had something happen to me in the past, and I won't get into it now, but I had to, when I was in school, I had to take a neurologically based internship, rounds, whatever you want to call it. And I love children. So I'm like, this is going to be hard because to see a child in a wheelchair is going to break my heart. Mm-hmm. But you know what? I was wrong. I looked at them, and they had joy, and they had love, and they had more strength than I saw in any pro athlete. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to learn from these kids. Mm-hmm. And so my mind opened up then, and I felt, that God touched me. And then I went, oh, wait a minute. All movement starts where? In the muscle? No. Starts in our brains, in the frontal part, the frontal cortex. That's where the plans are. That's where the programs are. Mm-hmm. And so our goals with these children is not get our biceps stronger or get our gluteus medius a little stronger. It's have the kid get from one classroom to the second classroom over the course of a year. Instead of 15 minutes, get it down to 10 minutes. And prevent them from falling or fall 5 times versus 100 times. And I went, wait a minute. All the things that I thought about strength. What is strength?
Health.
Right? And health. And, I was able to see the difference. And then this carried over, so from cerebral palsy to Down syndrome. And by the way, when you're working with these children, you can't let them fall. You got to stay on them. And guess what? They're like little puppets. They can't control themselves. So anyway, that carried over, and I had the opportunity to working with stroke patients and spinal cord injury and traumatic brain injury and on and on and on, and MS. And God went, hey, cement head, link them together. What's the link here? It's not about strong versus weak. And that's kind of the things you guys have probably heard me say it about 1 million times. How many times have I said it so far, Cyndi?
a lot.
But the key to moving to healing all of these ailments, an orthopedic ailment, right? Back pain, knee pain.
Yeah.
But what is the other component of it? It's neurological because there's pain.
Right.
Pain starts here. So we have to change how we move.
Right.
So part of that, since we've been making these little changes in your movement, how are you doing? We're not going to do a testimonial yet,
Right.
but just a quick, how are you?
I'm definitely seeing results, and I've been here 6 days, and I am completely, I don't even know how to say it. I mean, from pain from head to toe is not pain from head to toe at this moment. And
So cool.
And so I can feel a walk and glide like I never have before. And my wife has noticed it, and it's been pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's. Thank you for sharing that. It's humbling to witness it and then see the dynamics of in her eyes the joy that comes because the love that you guys have, and then for you to even share and say, I have hope now. So if I died tomorrow, hell yeah, God's going to say, what'd you do with your life? And say, well, I try to give people hope. Well, how does that go?
Yeah,
and I think he's going to be pretty happy. So in this last segment coming up, we'll go a little more into detail. We're going to get Cyndi's perspective on what she's experienced through this whole process. So anyway, segment 3 done, segment 4 coming up. This is Dr. Dennis. You're listening to WSRadio.com, the worldwide leader in Internet talk.
All right.